Hello everyone, this is Dr. Quevedo. Thank you for watching. In this video, we will illustrate how is that we will establish a connection to a database. To be able to work with MySQL, we will have to have a connection to database. In our previous videos, we were discussing about installing the MySQL system, and what we did is that we did the installation for a server component of the MySQL, and we did the installation of MySQL Workbench. From Workbench, we will establish a connection to a server that hosts a database. So in our case, since we install our server so we can have a local connection, and we will talk about that later, but we can also make a connection to database that is located in another server. For our class, I have prepared database. Database is located at the IPS address that I'm highlighting right now, and the port is also listed there. The port number is there. Now, the database and the location of the database, which is in a remote server, the database has a name that is called a schema. So the database that we will access there, because there can be multiple databases there. So the one that we will work with, the name is Quevedo. So I'm highlighting the name right here. Now, to have access to the database, we have to have a username. Users will have privileges like users permissions here to read the database, to create tables, to delete, to update. There are multiple privileges that you can have. So in our case, we're going to use the account with the name student, which in this case, you're only going to be able to read the objects that I will be posted in that database. And the password for that account is my Oracle password as listed there. So I'm going to use that information to establish a connection. When you open MySQL Workbench, you will see at the bottom that it says MySQL connections. There should be one that says that there is a local instance, that has a way of connecting to your local server. We're not using that right now. What I will use is make the connection to the one that I created for this class. So for that, we're going to click on the plus that it says MySQL connection. So we're going to click plus here to add a new connection. So we can, you notice, assign a name. So to the connection, I'm going to call the name CSE 4350. So that's the name of the connection that we will have. And then the host where the database is located, the IP address that I show you in before. The port is correct there, the port number. The username that I say we will have to use is student. And the name of the database that is in that location is Quevedo. Password, we can actually store the password, so we don't have, if we do this, we don't have to provide the password every time that we have the connection. So the password, I also gave you the password, which is my Oracle password. Then we click OK. So we provided all the information that we need to establish a connection. Now, before we do anything else, we had to test the connection. So there is a button here to test the connection. The configure server, you don't have any way you're doing the configuration, so don't do anything there. So just do testing. So we have to test. So it says something here about warnings about the versions that we're using. So we say continue anyway. Successfully made the connection. So that means we're fine. So we say OK here, and then we click OK over here. So be sure that we do the testing before anything else. You had to do the testing. So now that where it says MySQL connections, I had the option of connecting to CSCA 4350, which is a remote database. So now let's click over here and we have the connection there. So here is having a command that I was testing before, so I'm going to delete that one. So now here it gives you some information about the database that I'm posting there, and you see that it says something about tables. So I think it's giving you the access of the tables that I had there. I created 3 tables for you, and there is a function there too. Okay, for now, what we will do is just look at the content of some of the tables that are there. During the semester, we will do more with this database, but for now, I just want you to be sure that you downloaded the software that you need and that you're able to establish a connection to the database and you're able to read the data that I will be posting there. To look at the content of the table, let's say sailors, we can say select start. That means I'm going to look at all the attributes for the objects that are on sailors. Then I will click on execute that command and look at that. Here I have well, I can see some of the information of the sailors. Like I said, we will work on more on that later. So for now, I just want to be sure that you have the connection. So here you see the sailors have an identification, a name, a rating, and an age. So the first one that I see, the identification is number 18. The name is Jones, rating 3, and age 30. Okay, now to be able for you to prove that you have a connection, you have to take a quiz. And I will open now the quiz for you, so you can see what you have to do. The quiz has only one question, and I'm going to show you the question, and I'm going to show you how to answer the question. But to answer the question, you have to download the software first, the MySQL. I mean, you have to install the database management system SQL as illustrated in the previous videos and establish a connection that I'm showing you right now. Once you have that, you will open the quiz that has only one question and you will execute one command that is right there. And we're going to look at the answer that is provided here and submit the quiz and you get 100% for the quiz. So I'm going to show you how to get 100% in that quiz right now. The quiz that I was describing before about verifying that you have access is the Q6 verification of MySQL access. When you open the quiz and you're ready to take the quiz, it will be just one question. Now, let me highlight the instructions. To be able for you to take the quiz, you had to have MySQL installed and you had to be able to establish the connection that I just described in the first part of this video. Okay, so look at that here. The question is to execute the statement that I will highlight right now. So I'm gonna just copy, look at that there are some numbers. So the numbers that are there are generated at random. So each one of you is gonna have different numbers. And what we need to do is just go and execute it in the connection that we just established, which is the one that we're calling CSCE4350. So in the window to execute, I'm going to paste this information here and then execute it. Once I execute it, look at that I'm getting an answer. So in the case that an answer that I'm getting is 12. See if I can copy, then going back to the quiz. Be sure that you copy just the numerical thing. And that's it. So I have that as my answer. And that's it. So look at that. I executed and copying the answer that I got, the numerical answer. Then I submit the quiz. And I got the 30 points. So it's correct. So that's it. That's what I have to do. In a future video, we will describe more on how you can work on your local connection. But I think you will understand what to do in the local collection, but still I'm gonna illustrate it in the other one, because in that one you don't have to provide all the information about the servant, but just the password for the root, which is the password that you used to when you did the installation. Thank you for watching.